No, stop! My mother, Patricia, shouted across our dining room, her voice so filled with terror it froze my blood. I was seated at our beautifully decorated Christmas table in Phoenix, Arizona, fork halfway to my mouth with a bite of honey-glazed ham, when she suddenly sprang upright from her chair, as if she had just seen a ghost. Before I could even ask what was happening, she collapsed to the floor with a sickening thud. My fork clattered from my hand as I rushed to her side, my heart slamming against my ribs. Her face was as pale as winter snow, her breath sharp and desperate. "Mom! Mom! What's going on?" I cried, falling to my knees beside her trembling body. Within seconds, Vincent, my stepfather for the past 3 years, appeared at my side with surprising speed. "Mary, call 911. Something's terribly wrong." While we waited for the ambulance, my mother's eyes fluttered open briefly. Her hand gripped mine with shocking strength, and she whispered words that would torment me for weeks. "Do not trust anyone." Those 4 chilling words sent shivers racing down my spine, unrelated to the December evening. Why would she say something so ominous? What had she seen? What had she discovered that left her so terrified she collapsed at the sight of me eating dinner? My name is Mary Thompson, 32 years old, and I work as a marketing coordinator for Sunnendale Financial in Phoenix. Up until that Christmas night, I thought my greatest worry was whether my latest campaign would meet its quarterly goals. I live alone in a cozy downtown apartment, but I always spent holidays with my mother and Vincent at their sprawling suburban home. Vincent had entered our lives after my father's passing 4 years earlier. He was charming, attentive, and seemed devoted to making my mother's later years happy. They had met at a grief support group, and their bond quickly grew into what appeared to be a second chance at love. But as the paramedics carried my unconscious mother into the ambulance, something in Vincent's expression made my stomach twist. It wasn't grief, nor even worry. It was something colder, more calculating. The once festive Christmas dinner sat untouched on the table, the warmth of the holiday shattered. Grabbing my purse, I hurried to follow the ambulance, but not before noticing Vincent's fleeting glance back toward the dining room, his expression unreadable, yet unsettling. At Phoenix General Hospital, doctors worked frantically to stabilize my mother, while Vincent and I paced the sterile waiting room. The buzzing fluorescent lights cast an unforgiving glow, making Vincent's face appear almost skeletal. "She just collapsed out of nowhere," I explained to Dr. Williams when he finally emerged. "She screamed at me not to eat, then fell to the floor." Dr. Williams frowned at his clipboard. "We're running tests, but her blood work shows signs consistent with toxin exposure, elevated levels that suggest poisoning." "Poisoning?" Vincent's voice cracked with shock. "How is that even possible?" The doctor shook his head grimly. "We're unsure. Has she been acting strangely? Any unusual symptoms?" I thought back. Recently, she'd seemed quieter, more withdrawn. I'd caught her staring at Vincent on several occasions, her expression unreadable, almost wary. When I asked, she only said she was tired, struggling to sleep. "She's been distant, but nothing serious," I admitted. "For now, she's stable but unconscious," Dr. Williams said. "We'll know more after additional tests." Hours stretched endlessly. I replayed every detail of the night. Vincent had insisted on preparing Christmas dinner himself, claiming it was his gift to us. He'd spent all day in the kitchen, waving us away whenever we offered help. At the time, I thought it was sweet. But now, with my mother's desperate warning echoing in my mind, "Don't trust anyone," I wasn't so sure. Vincent had been unusually insistent that I sit in a specific chair, telling me it had the best view of their new Christmas tree. He had personally served my plate, carefully selecting each portion. Watching him now across the waiting room, head buried in his hands, he looked like a man crushed by grief. Yet his posture seemed too perfect, almost staged. "I can't believe this is happening," he murmured, glancing at me with searching eyes. "Your mother means the world to me." "I know," I replied automatically, though the words tasted hollow. As the night stretched on, I couldn't shake the feeling that her collapse wasn't a random medical emergency. Something had terrified her enough to risk everything to stop me from eating that food, and I was determined to uncover the truth.